باب مفتوح للاجتهادات التقليد. هذا حد العالم، هذا طالب، هذا راسخ والى اخره.
Alright, y'all already know we in here in the green studio with the veteran Doc, man.
Hey, what's going on, man? What's up, Rip?
What up, man? Yo, so basically the first question is give us a little history of when you started calisthenics, how your TeamWinGate, how that came about, and how long you've been in the game.
It's difficult to say when I started calisthenics. I could tell you when I started doing calisthenics the right way. 2001, that summer, I was a good guy in our neighborhood named Just. He took me under the wing. He taught me what he learned, how to correctly do what we call around the world sets. I won't tell you the exact format, but it's a system that he implemented and taught just about all of us at that time in Wingate. And it was funny because back then I used to work out. I just didn't know I wasn't doing it the right way. He asked me one day when I was sitting on the bench, he said, "What you do today, man?" I said, "Yeah, man, I worked out. I did 60 pull-ups." And he paused and was like, "Man, I don't even sound like you worked out." And I was like, "Well, I did 6 sets." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And I guess he understood from there how to help me to understand what it is to truly work out, how to truly develop your upper body, your core, how to develop certain, he taught me a lot, man. And so everything he taught me, I was able to teach others over time. That was in 2001. Since then, I became a personal trainer at New York Sports Club. That's when I began my personal training career I think that was 2006, through a good friend of mine. And from there, I met so many different athletes, and I decided to go independent with the personal training thing. I haven't worked for anybody since then. That's when this whole thing erupted. You know, it was around that time when I left New York Sports Club, probably in 2008, is when everything erupted. It was Matrix, shout out to Matrix. He was doing the freestyle competitions in the Bronx at the NBXA tournament. The Pull-Up Park Jam, which was called 5Bs back then, that was beginning to get a lot more attention. And there was another brother in Long Island named Big Un, who did a freestyle competition that was starting to get, more popularity as well. So it was like the local competitions were becoming bigger, and YouTube was getting more involved. The one-upsmanship was getting heavier. So that was when everything started to erupt. And I could give you a really long history lesson or whatever, but that was a brief synopsis of how it all broke down. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so since I've been doing the actual interviews, any question you don't feel comfortable with, you don't have to answer. Mm-hmm. So we went back and forth a little bit on my YouTube. Now, Giant mentioned something about bartenders in beast mode being the skeletons for all the rest of the teams, and you didn't agree with that. And I want your input on everybody coming from 2 systems.
Right.
Is this does this make sense to you?
Well, first of all, I didn't feel like we were going back and forth. I just wanted to leave.
No,
a
not
comment.
like that.
Yeah, I just wanted to leave a comment on it, respectfully. The whole concept of this whole thing starting from 2 teams is a little arrogant, because I live in Brooklyn. I'm from Wingate. I see what is around me. At the time when we were doing it, we didn't have access to social media to see what other countries and other neighborhoods were doing. So to assume that we were the only ones getting busy would have been arrogant on our part. When we got a chance to meet other people, we see, all right, this dude was getting money. He's from Harlem. Oh, this dude was getting money. He's from Queens. It's obvious that they were doing something on their own. I think perhaps there are things that people did during that pioneer stage of the culture that makes them have validity, you know, in their statements, at least to themselves and to the people who follow them. But the truth of the matter is, there were a lot of parks which was similar to like dojos, because they all had their own system, that were doing whatever it was they were doing long before it got popular. That's the truth. I can tell you for a fact, when the Rough Riders DVD came out, my homeboy, who does not work out, ran to me because he knew I work out. It's like, yo, you got to see this DVD. These dudes is going in, they doing the same stuff y'all be doing. That's the concept, you understand? It's not that you watch this thing and it's like, oh, okay, now, I'm sure for some people that's exactly what happened. They probably saw something and was like, hey, I want to do that. But not for everybody. You know, when I first heard of bartenders, I was inspired because I was like, wow, now people care about this kind of training. I didn't think it was popular. Only people who were into fitness were checking for it. But when you see it on like a hip hop DVD or something, it makes you feel like people who not necessarily into that are checking for it. So there's entertainment value now, you know what I'm saying? So it gave you courage, like, oh snap, people care about the fact that I could do this stuff. All right, maybe there's something in this for me. Maybe I can get some money out of it. Maybe I can get some notoriety. I can maybe do a commercial, right? That was the mindset. There's I guess there's a conversation that needs to be had between people who are giving out difference of opinion stories. But I'm just gonna give you truth. You know what I'm saying? That's all that really matters, is truth. So when this whole thing started, I can't say it started with Rough Riders, but they were the guys who put something out, like a project out, that was really good. They were the first ones that anybody saw put out a project. Doesn't mean that there weren't other people working out or groups, but that was the first project we ever saw. Then the next project I saw was the Bartender Project on I think a Sub-Zero DVD, right? When that came out, it was the first time it looked like the hip hop community was embracing calisthenics, which is the park workouts that we did, you know what I'm saying? But long before all of those things, it's just a culture that I'm from Brooklyn, man. This is the culture I came from. I saw guys working out on dope walk signs. If you go back and look at Biggie videos or whoever, you see it. It's part of our culture being from Brooklyn. It's not me trying to big up who I am or what I'm just telling you the truth. I don't know what's going on in this other place. I know what's going on in my backyard, right? So when the bartenders movement gained more speed, unfortunately, it wasn't an open door for everybody to join that group at the time. I think a lot of people thought that's what it was gonna be. I thought that might be what it was gonna be. That, hey, why don't we just all join this group? But I feel as though at that time, perhaps, you know, it was you already have your team, and I don't know. I don't know honestly, I don't know what the reason behind that was, or the concepts, or the thought process, or the motives. But it didn't work out that way. So maybe inadvertently, other teams were developed because, hey, if I'm not going to join them, I'll just stick with the guys that I'm already with, and we'll come up with our own name. So that was inadvertent. It wasn't as though it was to combat or to rival. It's like if we're both basketball players and I have a media team and you feel as though you're just as good as I am, you're gonna get somebody to film you because, hey, why is this guy getting all this attention? I'm pretty good. Somebody should be able to see what I'm good at, right?
Without a doubt.
So that's kind of what the concept was. If no one else is gonna show, I'm gonna show what it is. So that takes me into the next part of the who I am, I guess, and what I've done is putting out a lot of video content from the beginning stages. 100% just because nobody else was doing it.
Shout out.
You know what I'm saying? Not because I didn't have any motives behind it. I paid a lot of money, bro. Like, the first project I ever did was a DVD that I gave away. You know what I'm saying? I thought maybe we could get some acting jobs, some personal training jobs. People were mad at me because I put like phone numbers and real contact info, because I'm from the hood. Like, I feel like if you're gonna call me, you better be willing to deal with the you know what I'm saying? So I didn't know. people were like, man, you can't put my number on that, man, you crazy? But my intentions were just to do right because nobody else was doing it for us. And I think we deserve to be shown in a good light and respectfully, and you know what I'm saying, for the talent that we possess, how cool we make the culture look, you know what I'm saying? It's not just the fact that we're doing it, we make it look very cool and inviting and fun, and it's inspirational to people who look like us. Like, this is just to be honest, when you Google fitness model, you don't see people that look like us, but you know, we're the blueprint for a lot of what you've seen when we're talking about Beachbody, P90X. We're the blueprint. Those are our concepts and systems that we've been using forever that have been making other people millions and millions of dollars. So if nobody's gonna come and showcase, and we'll just do it on our own. That was really you know what I'm saying? That was really the motive behind it. The necessity was what it was. Nothing other than that.
And do you remember your first project in the year?
I started filming 2008. I think I finished in 2009.
And that was that the Bartark or?
No. That was a DVD I made. It had everybody on it that I knew of. Giant was on it. I had a nice section for Giant, Metaphysics, and Chaos.
Is it on YouTube?
No, maybe pieces of it. If you go to like the page, you got to see what is now called the Bar Club. If you go to the Bar Club page on YouTube and go to the first videos, you'll see stuff that says "Get Familiar." You'll see like Beast, Get Familiar, D300, Get Familiar, B-Rock, Get Familiar, so on and so forth. Those were guys that were on the DVD that had a segment. You know what I'm saying? I still have the DVD. I'll give it to you and show you. You know what I'm saying? So you could, you know, throw little pieces of that up there if you want to, whatever. But yeah, that was just something I made to give away because we needed something to show.
Get the people known.
Yeah, people needed to see how dope everybody was. I live in Brooklyn. I'm real close to Wingate Park, but Lincoln Terrace Park was very close to me as well. And Beast was like a real popular dude. He was almost like an urban legend. And the things that, I mean, when I say urban legend, I mean for real. People had like retarded stories. They were like, yo, I seen Beast do 15 one-arm pull-ups with a dude on his back. It was like crazy with hair, right?
Yeah.
But to be honest, him in real life is not that far away from those stories. So the point I'm making by saying that is, you had a guy like Beast who was that strong in real life that didn't even have a YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? Or I think in that time, all his videos were on other people's pages. Like my man Shadow, I think Shadow was one of the first people that ever posted Beast. But no one really got a chance to see how dope this guy really is. Guys like Zeph, Zeph is my brother, man. Like,
without a doubt.
And as strong as he's gotten over the years, he's gotten way stronger, whether people want to believe it or not. He started out savagely strong, and people didn't know. If you didn't like take the time to look and pay attention, because he had like these little videos called like Brooklyn Pull-Ups. I think it was like a series of like 1 through like 40 or something like that. If you didn't look through all of those, you would miss it. Like, you know, he was out there doing one-arm pull-ups into clean muscles on the scaffold, you know, those thick-ass scaffold bars. This is a dope athlete who walks around the neighborhood that look like a regular, you know, get money dude or something, you know, like a regular dope. He's not a dope boy. I'm just saying. Yeah. He looked like a regular person, but nobody knows who this guy is. He's super strong. Tech from Harlem Seals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My man Tech. No
social media.
He doesn't have any social media at the time, but at that time, no one had social media. You understand? And Tech was amazing. He's not my height. He's probably a little taller, maybe 6'2". Very smooth. He was one of the guys that I was very inspired by because of his body type. It was very similar to mine. And no one got a chance to see this guy unless you were into calisthenics like that. I mean, actually, I should take that back, because Tech was one of the people that took it upon himself to promote himself. He was good at that.
Harlem Seals.
At the time. He was very good at self-promoting, and he put out some really nice content at the time. A lot of those guys did, but it wasn't enough, and it wasn't a collective. You know what I'm saying? It should have been more comprehensive. So that was kind of what I did, and I did it without leaving. I never left Wingate. I never traveled anywhere, to be real with you. Everybody came to Wingate, and that's when I got a chance to film. And the furthest I ever traveled was Lincoln Terrace. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed, in the body, literal translation, is a lump of flesh, a piece of meat. إِذَا صَلَحَتْ صَلَحَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ. And when that lump of flesh